American Hustle. Much like David Russell's last effort, Silver Linings Playbook, which was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, American Hustle has a lot of things going for it, including 10 nominations of its own. In both films, there's a dream cast who all give dynamite performances for great characters. The dialogue is sharp, the direction's dynamic, and the story gets better with repeated viewings. Silver Linings Playbook built up wonderfully, and then the third act just sort of happens. Though it does bother me less and less the more I watch it. Admittedly, the story in American Hustle is a lot better. It's actually very good, but it just doesn't dazzle the way the rest of the pieces do. Kind of like Ringo next to John, Paul, and George. Irving Rosenfeld, played by Christian Bale, owns a glass business and a few fancy dry cleaners, but only as a cover for his fake loan business and his fake art dealings. He truly is conning all the time, from his businesses, to his fake hair that he meticulously perfects, to his giant shaded glasses that he hides behind. Pay attention to the few times he takes those off, by the way, because they're deliberate moments. We learn in a Goodfellas-style flashback that Irving chose this life because he used to watch his father get taken, and he wanted to grow up to be the person doing the taking. He meets and falls for the lovely Sydney, played by Amy Adams, who has a similar desire to reinvent herself because she's unsatisfied with who she is, and thus she takes on the British persona of Edith for their con life. Despite the fact that Irving is in a seemingly loveless marriage with a big-haired bimbo named Rosalind, played by Jennifer Lawrence, he and Sydney manage to run a pretty successful con business, taking people's money, promising loans which they never deliver, until they are conned themselves by a sting operation executed by FBI agent Richie DiMasso, played by the curly-headed Bradley Cooper. DiMasso, who is blind with ambition, offers Irving and Edith immunity if they help him make arrests on 4 white-collar criminals. This arrest/con plot gets even bigger when DiMasso realizes he can use Irving and Edith to take down dirty politicians, notably Camden, New Jersey Mayor Carmine Polito, played by Jeremy Renner. I make the Goodfellas allusion on purpose because this movie does feel like something Martin Scorsese would make. From the stylistic direction, to the crime-centric plotline, to the blurred line between cop and criminal, not to mention the obligatory presence of Robert De Niro. But while Goodfellas was about the life, American Hustle is more about the people in the life, conning each other and themselves in order to survive. For this reason, the story doesn't need to be overly complex and dig into the specifics of the political corruption, because it's secondary to the characters. Bale's character Irving is caught between his love for Sydney and his love for his adopted son through marriage. His feeling of guilt for Sydney's arrest and his inability to run away and leave his son behind force him to play ball with Richie DiMasso, but his surprising conscience makes him resist. Cooper's DiMasso walks the line between acting out of a desire for justice and a desire for personal power, which is further complicated by his lust for Sydney, which arises as a third motivator for his actions. While Lawrence's Rosalind is more of a plot device used for comic relief, Sydney is a force to be reckoned with, living a double life as Edith, playing Richie, playing Irving. She says she created Edith in order to survive, but in doing so almost loses herself in the con that she's playing. But, like its fellow nominees, Gravity, 12 Years a Slave, and Dallas Buyers Club, this movie is ultimately about survival. And as Sydney says several times, you do what you do to survive.